Heichelbech, old friend of the show. It's been a while since we talked, but you know what? Last time I talked to you, you were making just flintlocks.
Long rifles.
Long rifles. And you're one of those guys that likes the primitive stuff.
I love the primitive. I love flintlock.
Yeah.
That's my baby right there, is my flintlock shooting.
Well, since I've talked to you last, it's been a while. You kind of changed it up a bit on us.
Well, since I've talked to you last, I done had my back operated on and had to go to something that's a little bit more ease on my back, so I went into shotgun because it's a slower pace, it's laid back, and you don't have to be in a hurry to do it, plus you don't have to hold the rifle up there as long. And then so shotgun, you go out there and let it rip and be done with it. All right, the first thing we're going to want to do to get all the oil and everything out of the barrel to clean the barrel out, we're going to shoot what they call a fouling shot, which is basically just blowing powder with a card over it to clean your barrel out to get started.
Let's take a look at your gun and kind of talk about that a bit.
Okay. There's nothing really primitive about the gun except the lock on the side of it. Flintlock. They have different classifications and categories up in Friendship, Indiana, which they have a traditional, they have an original, then they have the flintlock category, and then there's anything goes up there as long as it's a muzzle loader.
Right.
And they do shoot a little bit of, started shooting a little bit of cartridge, black powder cartridge guns up there, which it's all, you know, anything they could do to keep the sport going is what they're basically trying to hit on up there.
And this is a gun that you have assembled yourself.
Yes, sir. It's walnut. It's a guy had him make he come up with the barrels up in Indiana made out of seamless tubing, which is hydraulic tubing up there, and he come up with it. It come out to be a 20 gauge. It's got screw-in chokes in it, and we basically put it together for something that fits us.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm left-handed, so I basically have to build my own to have one to fit me.
You know, I'm amazed that I would expect that to be heavier. Well, that's a pretty gun. Well, I guess we're going to have to put some hearing protection, eye protection on and go down there and just...
Yeah, I prefer you put it on for safety reasons. All right, first we need to put our powder in. Now here's where on a rifle a difference where you use a cloth patch. Here you use a card over the powder card. Then you use a cushion wad. It loads just like a shotgun shell does. That's without the shell part of it. Then after you put your cushion wad, you load your shot over it. And then you got a small card, which holds your shot in. Now, besides priming, we're ready to go. Oh. 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 There you go. All right.
What role do they play in history?
Well, really, as far as the guns, they were the first guns that come across to help settle this country, because they had smoothbores, and that was basically a shotgun, you know, which you could just about load anything in it, you know, as far as your shot, rocks, or whatever to shoot. They wasn't real accurate, you know, at a long distance, but up close they was, you know, real deadly, you know, as far as the settling of this country. They played a big role in it. And then it started into a sport of shooting clay pigeons. Or really, it started out, they actually let pigeons go from underneath a box to shoot. And then so they started blowing these glass balls and started throwing them. They got launchers to launch them, and then it went to the clay pigeons. So the sport, I don't know if it really originated over in England and then was brought over here or what it was, but anyway, that's where the clay pigeons is where the name started, was shooting pigeons, and so they went to the clays now. Oh.
there's competition.
There's
for these
been
things.
competition since 1933 up in Friendship, Indiana.
Wow.
They've had the National Muzzleloading Association, started back then, and they started shooting different classifications. They shot rifle and shotgun and sporting clays and long-range shooting up there, and it's pretty interesting. If you've never been there, it's well worth the trip to go see what's going on.
Well, Terry, first of all, thanks for letting us shoot today.
You're
That was
more
a
than
lot
welcome.
of fun. It takes a little getting used to, but that's a whole lot faster. You know, everybody thinks there's this huge delay. Man, once you kind of get used to it, it's just like shooting a shotgun.
It's basically it's the same thing, you know, as the other. It's just there's a myth with everybody's got about seeing these shows on TV, you know, with old Daniel Boone series where you see the flash in the gun go off and stuff. But if you set them up right, they're just as fast.
Cool.